Dad, I Have to Pee is a proud member of the Barelas Podcasters Guild.
We absolutely need someone to be like, there's a cat in the tree.
Yeah. It has never been easy to be a parent, and in these troubled times, it's more difficult than ever. But don't worry, here are two modern dads who will teach you all you need to know about raising children. You're listening to
Dad, I have to pee!
Welcome to the show. Okay, well, thanks everyone. Welcome back to Dad, I Have to Pee, the number one podcast in Albuquerque with two dads who are brothers talking about kids. It's a very specific demographic. Hosted by me, Jesse, and by my brother, Brennan. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
And we're thrilled to death to be joined today by Jill from the I Says to Her, I Says podcast and other things. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm doing good.
Good. Well, thanks for coming on. Are you ready? We usually start off with a couple of questions. Are you feeling up to it, or do you need?
Yeah, of course. Shoot away.
Okay, sweet. What was your graduation song? We don't ask people their age. We sometimes will ask them their graduation song if they remember.
It was a song by I think it was a song by Incubus.
Oh, really? Was it the same one as
Incubus? Yeah, because I remember having to vote for it. So, like, there was, like, Good Riddance was the year before, and we were like,
oh, funny.
Everyone does that. And then I think it was between Incubus and another song. I remember Incubus, but I don't actually, thinking back on it, I don't think it was that song. I don't remember.
Was it Nice to Know You by Incubus?
I think that was the other song that.
Oh, man.
Like,
that's cool.
My best friend at the time was like a huge Incubus fan, so she was like, "It's gotta happen," and then it didn't happen.
We voted. My student body voted for "Nice to Know You," and it got vetoed, and they gave us some Switchfoot song instead. So that's awesome that you guys got Incubus. Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What would you say is your favorite sandwich, Jill?
Ooh. I like hot Sammys. I don't like cold Sammys. I don't know why. I just don't. Probably a French dip.
Ooh, nice. Is there any place in town that's you can get carry out of those nowadays?
No, but I actually just tried something at Green Jeans.
Oh, nice.
They had a Philly it wasn't a dip, but any of those hoagie sandwiches. I'm from Chicago originally, so like.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
So Italian beef is like hot sandwiches, totally the thing.
Nice.
But yeah, they have this place. God, I don't even remember the name of it now. I feel bad. That had a hot Philly there, and it was really good. And that's what I got recently.
So
cool.
do you
Did you ever go to? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So I was gonna say, so you're a deep dish pizza fan then, if you're from Chicago?
I am a deep dish pizza fan. I actually, my family, like so many people in my family have worked at different pizza places, and cool. I still work at a pizza place. So pizza is like, pizza's pizza. If I'm in Chicago, I will have a deep dish, but if I'm in New York, I'll have a thin slice.
Nice,
so.
Yeah. I've never met a piece of pizza I didn't like, so.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Jesse, go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, did you ever go to Green Jeans before you moved away, Brennan?
I didn't. It's that place built out of storage containers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I've never been there. I think it was around for a little bit before I moved away, but is it pretty cool?
Yeah, it's good. They have a lot of different things, and they're doing like outdoor stuff and carry out now, right?
Nice.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
So, and then do you have, Jill, a favorite smell that you can think of?
Yeah, I don't, like, in regards to, like, food or, like, candles
just
or
any smell, like if you hear, like you think of a smell that you like and you're like, that's a good smell. Like mine is WD-40 for some reason.
I like tires. Tires are delicious.
Oh, yeah, Brennan said tires one time.
I like, God, you guys threw me off with all these.
Sorry.
All your choices.
These are hard-hitting questions.
I just know what I like I'm a candle fiend, so I
Oh,
always
okay.
get like musky stuff
Oh, okay.
that smells like a man. That's my favorite kind of smell.
Awesome. That's cool. Well, we talked with Scott a few weeks ago, and he talked a little bit about the podcast. I don't know if you want to
Yeah.
kind of. I mean, he talked a lot about how you guys got together and stuff. Maybe like, I'm interested in your process because I always crack up at it. And do you guys like how much planning do you guys do ahead and things like
No
that?
planning. No planning.
Awesome.
So, like when we first started, and I listened to his episode because I wanted to hear him talk stuff about it. So it's, yeah, like we started with the interviews and stuff, and we kind of wanted to do like a structured show, and then we fell into like, we sort of evolved into just like catching up every week with your bud, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's more so what we do now. Like we used to be way more into talking about comedy and stuff like that. I was doing improv a lot at the time. So we were not being in the pandemic and everything. It's like, I'm like reaching for things to talk about now.
Yeah.
But now, yeah, as we've evolved, I feel like we talk way more about just like week to week, like what we're going through. And a lot of it is we do a bit where we're not recorded. So we really do like kind of meet up and communicate with each other and just see how we're doing. But
Nice.
the recorded part of it is so much just, you know, lately we've been choosing like, let's pick a show that we're going to watch this week and kind of talk about it. That way we are able to converse back and forth about it. So that's been a new evolution into the show now.
Nice.
But really, other than that, we really don't plan anything at all.
Nice.
We know what
Okay.
time we get on.
That's
Right,
awesome.
cool.
Do you?
Well,
do
that,
you have
that
a,
brings me.
Oh no, go
Brennan.
ahead, man. No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that kind of, and you said you have like an improv background. So like, what's your comedy background? I know you were at the box and stuff before everything kind of shut down.
Yeah. So right around the time I met Scott, and I was working on Color Circuit with him.
Right.
I started doing improv there, and I had done it. This would have been my third year doing it now.
Nice.
But yeah, so before the pandemic hit and everything, like I had gone to Chicago and done some
Really?
like intensives. Yeah.
At Second City or
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, wow.
I did that. I've been trying to do it online too. It's just improv online is hard. It's
Yeah, I
hard to
would
get
guess.
into.
Yeah, I was gonna say I mean, I saw that there are still some shows now. It's just kind of like a tough time, kind of, and everybody's making the best of it, kind of, or.
Yeah, definitely. The show is definitely doing best they can, and they're still awesome performers. It's just having to work with the technology, you know. So
Yeah, we know a little bit about technology problems, but
Yeah.
were you like a comedy kid growing up? Like, how did you end up finding yourself in comedy and improv? If you had to think about it?
I always loved like Amy Poehler and Tina Fey. SNL was really big in my house growing up. I don't think that I ever found myself to be like the funniest person in my family. Absolutely not. My sister Hannah is absolutely the funniest person that in my family, other than my dad. But yeah, I think I had moved downtown and I didn't really know anyone, and I just wanted like a sense of community. I was taking, actually, I know exactly how I got into the box. I was taking a scene study class because I was doing a lot more acting stuff a couple of years ago. And in one of those classes, this improviser from the show was in that class with me and was like, hey, come audition. You know, so I think that's where it kind of started. And then I just kind of fell into it.
Nice.
From there.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I guess, is that the best way for people who are interested, is just to like just take a class and see how you do? And is there ever like I mean, do you have any advice for people who are interested in it?
Take a class. The box does basic classes, every couple. I would say like they have them seasonally, so they already started classes or they're about to start classes. But if you miss this sign up, you can always, they'll have another one in late spring or in the summer, and it's just a great way to like meet people, and especially as an adult, it's so hard to like if you're in a new area or a new situation, you're not connecting with people. It's such a great way to connect with people. So even if you're not doing it to do improv, I think it's a great way to get a sense of community in general. So, but if you want to do comedy, yeah, start with that. It'll loosen you up.
As a side note, but I recently went back to school and I had to write a paper on stuff, and there was some big company that was sending, or I mean, it was an option to send people to improv classes to kind of get them more used to like public speaking and kind of presenting. So I thought that was kind of cool. So all right,
Oh, that's cool.
I guess, and it from the way you're describing it makes it sound like it's pretty supportive, because like some comedy open mics are maybe not that. So
yeah, see, like stand up and improv, I think a lot they intermingle a lot. That's kind of how I'd always be around during the comedy shows and stuff, because like people are doing shows, so you go and back and forth. And improv is definitely it thrives when it's a team type of comedy. The thing that they say is I got your back. So you have to yes and you have to be constantly trying to take what you're given and give some back to your team. And stand up, I think, is it's such a solo act most of the time, unless you have like for some reason I'm thinking of Oh Hello with Nick Kroll and John Mulaney, but that's not really that's like a show. It's like a team show or something. But yeah, so definitely a difference between stand up and improv for sure.
nice. And I mean, I've talked to people who are like worried that they're like, there's not all ages kind of do it, right? You're never too old to kind of try it. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. There's kid classes. I mean, I've had classes with like 90-year-old women who kill it. They're just
Oh wow.
like so funny. And it's really for everybody. Anybody who is willing to be supportive and open, and for everybody, I would say, yeah, for sure.
Nice. Well, cool. Well, thanks for bringing your insight on that one. And we wanted your insight on another subject, which is why we brought you here today. I think on some of the I Says podcast, I've heard you mention that you're from a relatively bigger family. I'm the oldest of 8, and Brennan's number 3 of 8. So how many siblings do you have?
So there's 7 total. My my 2 oldest sisters are from my mom's first marriage. My brother's from her second, and then the 4 of us are from my dad and my mom, her third marriage. So gotcha. So yeah, I'm on the opposite spectrum. I'm the youngest.
Okay.
And I know that you guys have like almost like a 20-year span between you guys.
Right. Yeah, our youngest sister still lives at home. She's like 16 or 17.
School.
Yeah. Ours is about 20 years too. My sister is exactly 20 years older than me. So.
Oh wow. Oh, nice.
So do you have a lot of nieces and nephews then?
I do. I actually now, other than my brother, am the only person without a kid. I'm okay with that. So I'm okay with that for right now. There's a lot of kids. Everyone's got 1 or 2.
So nice. How many do you have total? Do you know, or is it such a high number that it's hard to keep track?
No, it's not too bad. I think 7.
Okay, cool.
So it's equal to the kids, to us.
Oh,
So,
nice.
Nice.
so
there's
we're not being taken over quite yet.
Yeah.
How many grandkids is there's like I have 4, you have 2,
Our parents
my sister
have
has
11 grandkids,
11,
and 2
okay.
of them are mine, which would mean that I have 9 nieces and nephews, plus 1 on my wife's side. So I guess I have
Okay.
10 nieces and nephews. Yeah.
Yep, it gets
Wow.
busy. So our big topic today is sibling rivalry, which is basically just described as, competition between siblings. And some
Yeah.
people, I think it comes they're competing for attention from the parents, or it could be any number of things. So I think the first question is, so what number are you out of the 7, Joe?
I'm 7.
7 of 7? Oh, okay. Cool. And then, I guess my question is, do we think, as a discussion, does birth order affect sibling rivalry? And I guess also, does gender, or, an understanding of gender, affect sibling rivalry? And I'll start by saying, I think it might, because there's me and my sister Miranda are the oldest 2, and we competed at a certain amount, but I feel like it wasn't as much. But then Brennan and my brother under him, Zachary, compete like cutthroat, very competitive. It carries over now into board games and lots of other things. You guys are like the 2 most competitive dudes I know.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? I guess my thesis is that because for whatever reason, me and my sister were close in age, we didn't compete in the same arenas, maybe. And then you and Zachary were, I don't know. What do you guys think, or what were your experiences?
No, I think there's some truth to that, man. I think Zachary and I are 2 years apart, so we like went to high school together. We like were in marching band together, and so we like pretty much always just hung out together. So we were like both BFFs, and like you said, like always competing with each other. And there were times when we would like come to blows over like a game of Tony Hawk Pro Skater or something. And now I think we're all good natured and stuff, but I definitely think that back in the day, because we were so close, and I guess because we were the same gender, that meant we also like shared a room for a while and whatever. I think that contributed.
What do you think, Jill?
So my family is like all girls. I have
Oh,
one
okay.
brother.
Oh,
So I can't say as far as like the differences between gender. I do know that my second oldest sister and my brother, the one right above him, they got along pretty well. And he and his younger sister, my older sister, they were like at each other's throats. So I don't have consistency to say like,
oh, okay.
But I will say that like my sister and I, it sounds like Brennan, like we had the same kind of situation. Like my sister right above me is like, we were like kind of inseparable, but at the same time, like just at each other's throats all the time. And we also at a time or another did share a room. I think more so like the rivalries for my family came like a step or 2 away from each other. Like my sister above, so there was Katie, who's right above me, and then Hannah. And I think like in high school and like me growing up, being the younger one, like the middle kids got in a lot of trouble. And I think that like I just kind of like recognized like what they did, and then I was like, I'm gonna learn from what they did and not do it exactly how they did it. But at the same time, being the youngest, you're kind of like, I would imagine a mom and dad are run down. They're like, we did the fights with the middle kids. You know what's gonna happen if you get in trouble, and it's kind of like,
yeah, totally.
So the dynamics change with parents and the kids. So I think that puts a lot of toll on the relationship for the siblings, because it's not your fault that your parents are being chill with you.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, but I'll take it. Like, I'm not
What are
gonna
you gonna do?
complain.
Yeah.
We joke about that a lot. Like I feel like with Jesse, because he was the oldest, my parents were like naive and inexperienced, so I kind of feel like he got away with a lot. And
What?
then, yeah, I think so, man. Have I never told you
Really?
this? This is my theory,
No.
man.
They were
So
okay.
I
And
think my
my
parents were naive and inexperienced with you, and then they started like with Miranda and me. They had their act together, and they were pretty good. And so I feel like we didn't get away with anything. And then by the end, like you said, they're like tired, and they're like, whatever, play Nintendo Switch all day for all I care. Like I
Yeah.
don't really care what you're doing. Just be sure to take a shower every once in a while.
Yeah, by the time I was around, my two older sisters weren't living, like, they were on their own. They were already adults. So I think I think about that a lot too, is like the relationship that I have with my mom versus the relationship she has with my oldest sister. They're almost like friends, more so.
Huh.
And like my oldest sister is like my second mom.
Yeah.
Like, I would be more comfortable getting in trouble with my mom than I would be getting in trouble with my sister.
Oh, funny.
That's
So-
yeah, it's just a weird difference there.
That's funny. So I take it you disagree, Jesse, by you
Oh,
getting all up
totally.
and
I
on-
feel like they were way strict with me, and you and Miranda, it was probably strict with you.
Oh
and
yeah,
then,
they're strict.
But what are you thinking that I got away with? Or I mean, don't dime me out too hard. But like, what?
I don't remember. I just remember them being like, "You gotta be, good job, man," and then like,
Maybe.
and then they'd be like, you realize if you get another C, we're pulling your butt out and homeschooling you and stuff. So like, I wasn't even allowed to get C's, dude. C's were off limits by the time I came around. C's were off limits. Like anytime I got a C, I was threatened with homeschool. And you did get homeschooled one time, and so then I remember you pulled me aside and you're like, "Don't think they won't do it, man. You better shape up."
What the backstory, Jill, is that I got into. I was a pretty good kid, but I did get into trouble in the 9th grade, and I was not getting good grades, so they did pull me out of school. But I'm like, they yelled at me for C's too. I feel like you. I mean, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. But I mean, maybe. But I think they knew that they had to nip it in the bud with you, probably.
Yeah,
So they
so
didn't
by
get
the-
as problematic as me.
By the time we were, and then for Miranda, it didn't matter. I think she got straight A's all the time. But for me, I flirted with C's a lot. I was always like right on the A B, low B range. And if I ever brought home a C, a progress report, it was an issue for sure. Because I think at that point they had developed the no tolerance for C policy. I think thanks to you, man. They were like, not going down that road again.
I did have some problems with grades. Were grades an issue? Like, one thing I know that my parents would always ask me to be a better student, like my sister. I don't know if that did stuff like that ever come up for you, Jill? Or I mean, you said you were a rival with the 2 kids up from you. Like, what
Yeah.
kind of things were you guys competing for?
I think it was just that I kind of got smooth sailing, and she was just always like a huge troublemaker.
Oh.
And even like a couple, like the 3 middle kids were pretty big troublemakers in high school. And I think that's where it was like my mom was always kind of just trying to like get them to just trying to get them to thrive in school. My brother was a dropout. My middle sister was also a dropout, and then my other middle sister was she kept getting kicked out of schools. So I had some like pretty big like discrepancies with school as far as with my family. But the sister right above me was really good at school. And we never I don't think we ever really like competed about that. It was like we competed on like who's gonna get home first and put on the show that they want to watch. Like it was never like anything like that. but we like our personalities, I think, are so different that like the way that my parents kind of like reared us were all little kind of customized to that person and not
Okay.
just like a one rule, like no
Uh,
sweet rule. It was like,
mhm.
I know that you can do this, so I'm gonna put this limitation on you. You better not come back with this. Or, you know what I mean? But maybe not for Katie. Like we know
Mhm.
Katie's fine. I don't have to do that to her. I'm
Right.
gonna put limitations somewhere else for her. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it was stuff like that.
That makes sense. So the
Nice.
part about putting on the show that people would want to watch, like, how did that work? Like, whoever was first got to pick, or what is
Yes.
that? Oh,
Yeah.
and then I see. Okay, so like,
Because we didn't have like cell phones back
right.
then, and we didn't have, you know, multiple TVs. We had like one big TV in the family room. It was like, Katie wants to watch Yu-Gi-Oh, so we're watching Yu-Gi-Oh. And I was like, I don't want to watch Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny. What one thing I don't know, that like the birth order thing. I feel like some people have said that like youngest children end up being in comedy and performing, and then they'll point to like, I can't remember, like Martin Short or like a bunch of different people who are the
Yeah.
youngest who are really good comedians, but I feel like that's not necessarily the case. Like I am like super drawn to performing and I'm the oldest, so I don't know, what do you guys think about?
Yeah, not in our family, that's for sure.
Mm.
I think that my theory is that the middle child thrives the most at comedy.
Okay.
Because they have space to like they're not and this is like not in every situation, but I feel like you kind of get the space to like kind of chill out, and like the parents are like, the baby's crying and you're like off doing your own thing, playing in the garden,
Mhm.
messing around
Yeah.
with bugs and
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, like I just feel like you definitely get the space to kind of like see how people are acting, and you can kind of observe that as a middle child.
Mhm.
That being said, I don't know that that necessarily means that they are confident enough to be a comedian. I think that they
Right.
are inevitably the funniest people, but I don't think
Mhm.
that they are driven enough to project it to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid theory for middle children. I think that's part of why, like, my wife, you grinning over there.
I laugh
My
because
wife
Brennan
always
gets accused of having strong middle child energy.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's funny. One time, our sister, who's 2 children below me, so she's like fifth out of 8, was like, "You're not a middle child." I'm like, "I'm middle of the ones who are around." Like, cause then at some point the old ones start like going to college and whatever, and so there's like
Yeah.
kind of like two shifts of family. But anyways, like, I think middle children are good at performing because they have to compete for attention. You know what I'm saying? Like the baby's crying or whatever, so they get attention, and the kids like getting bad grades, or the oldest is like getting bad grades or whatever, so they're like, and the middle child's like, "Hey, mom, like I got an A," and they're like, "Yeah, that's great, whatever." And then like,
Mhm.
no, but my wife accuses me of it all the time because like I'm always like, whenever I do anything, I'm like, who can I show this to? Like, and so that's what kind of drew me to playing music and podcasting and whatever. It's just like I just like the validation from other people, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think middle children have an advantage for that, but you're the first children, so we have you're representing first children, and Jill, you're representing the youngest, and I would
youngest.
be the
And you're
middle.
middle. Hey, that's perfect. I didn't even plan that, but that works
Yeah.
out good.
So I guess we all have different points of view. So why do you think, Jesse, you as a first child got into performance?
I don't know. I mean, I was talking to my wife about this because my wife is super funny, and I'm always like, you should do, improv or stand up. And she's like, no. She's like, I don't have that need for other people to find me funny. Like, you just have that, and I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
And, but I don't know. She was like, maybe it's because you kept getting replaced, so like you had all the parent attention, and then it went down to like you had half of it, then you had a third of it, then you had a fourth, and like maybe you like still crave attention. And I'm like, I don't know what it is, but yeah, I think there is something about wanting I don't know if attention's the right word, but to kind of, I don't know, something I can't relate to people in a normal way, so I want to relate to people that way. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I think there's definitely a certain type of people, and you and I have talked about it before, Jesse. People that like validation or like to perform, and people who are just fine not doing it. And my wife's that way. We've like tried to invite my wife on the show, and she's like, "No, I have no need for that. No reason I'm gonna be on that show." So she's that personality, and I'm the other personality where I like to play shows and play music and do stuff. So
I think for me as the youngest, there was a lot of stuff going on at home that I didn't understand from like the older kids and my parents, and just a lot of like dysfunctional stuff that happened a lot of the time that I was sheltered from because of my older siblings. And so because of like because like my middle sister was very like mothering and was like would shelter me from it, and my closest sister to me would like keep me entertained if there was anything like going astray in the family at the time. And so like I think the entertainment came to me just as like another kind of like shelter. Was like I'm not even home right now, I am Meg in Hercules, and like I don't care, I think that it also depends on your family dynamic and like how functioning your family is. Like if you guys are like, doing it up, you're doing a really good job, and everyone's like, it's a good family home and it's good for the kids, then that's great. But then you do have these situations when you are the older child and you didn't have a good relationship with your parents, and so you kind of escaped and you found comedy, and that's how you express your traumas. Like that's the whole thing, is it's trauma plus time. So I typically find that that's kind of where it came for me. Was I always was like playing around in the backyard whenever it was like too much inside the house. So I was just entertaining myself, and so I continue to try and do that.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Jesse. Oh, I was just gonna say, out of your kids, which one do you think's gonna be the comedian? The oldest, the middle, or one of the younger ones? Is one like? Do you notice already that some of your kids are funnier than others?
my second one, who's Davey, he has the like improviser energy where he's just like he'll do anything. Like he's just like he's totally like, I don't know if you can tell me if I'm wrong, Jill, but he doesn't seem to have like the like shame that I have, kind of like, and he's not he's just like willing to do whatever for a laugh, and he's just like full of energy, and that I really admire, because I feel like I'm not that way. And I think he's like the, not craziest, but he's the most uninhibited. But
it was a riot having him on the show, man. He was saying some random stuff for sure.
Am I wrong in describing the improviser energy, Jill? Like, I mean, I don't know what it is. I see performers who just like are really committed to whatever they're doing, and I'm just like, I would be getting embarrassed because I'm so self-conscious. I don't know. What do you think? There's
definitely like 3 different types of improvisers. There's definitely like a physical improviser who has that energy and is gonna try and be a cat on a tree. They're like, I'm a cat. If you tell me I'm a cat on a tree, I am a cat on a tree. And then there's like there's the heart, the head, and there's a third one. Now I'm forgetting. But the head is like, talking heads kind of scene where you have like, you're just quick-witted, and like maybe you don't do a lot of object work, but you're intellectually hilarious. And then there's the heart, where it's like you're pulling at the heartstrings of the audience. And so I think you can be any one of those things, and that's why I think improv is kind of for everybody. It doesn't matter you have that energy or not. That energy is actually great to have, and he probably would do great at improv. But it's not required, and I just
Oh,
want to make
okay.
sure. Yeah, I would
Oh,
say
okay.
like he definitely should try it, and he'll probably thrive and have a great time, and that'd be awesome.
I guess what I was getting at is more like I feel like some performers are just like so brave and like just like fearless, and I feel like
Yeah.
I'm just a very fearful performer. What do you? I mean,
But you
fear
kinda
almost
need
kind
that
of
too, though.
drives. Yeah, that's what I was about
Yeah.
to say.
Like that's I kind of like I used to do this thing before shows where I would be in the behind the stage and be like, why do I do this to myself? Like, my heart is gonna like
Yeah.
pull out of my chest. Why do I put myself through this like anxiety? And it's like because you love it, and it because even if it's like even if you hate it, Jesse, like you feel good doing it afterward, right? Like
Oh yeah, I love it, and I'll
yeah,
think about it all the time.
it's totally like the doing it is can be the most painful part for people, but then like the aftermath is like, oh my god, I can't believe I got up there and did that. And that's a battle we all have to kind of fight through.
So Jill, you had stage fright then. You've dealt with stage fright in the past then?
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay. I didn't even start doing. I was definitely like I always wanted to act. I always wanted to do performative things, but I never got the the chutzpah to do it until I was in like senior year of high school.
Wow.
And then finally I did it because I just like I think I like told a friend that she was like, well, I'm gonna audition for this play, and I was like, well, I'm gonna audition too. So it was like it's also doing a lot of things out of spite for me. It's like someone tells me I can't do it, oh, I'm gonna do it. So I don't know what that is, but
yeah,
I think.
And for me,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for me, it like totally like I deal with stage fright for some things, but not for others. Like playing the drums, because I'm a drummer, and I've played drums in various bands with Jesse over the years, and I play in bands out here. For some reason, playing the drums, it doesn't get to me, but I've done like open mics and stuff, and like stand-up comedy, and like that petrifies me for some reason. And so there are different things that affect me way worse than others. But yeah, I always wonder, like I've seen improv performers and whatever, and I'm like, man, I wonder if they get stage fright. So it's kind of reassuring to hear that you've dealt with that a little bit.
Yeah.
And I guess what stresses me is like what I've done, I've kind of done some stand up and it's very clinical and like I have it very written out and I know exactly what I'm going to say. And it's very much just like me being me. But like, as far as like being the cat on the tree, like I would be like, I would be so scared to like do that. So I think it's admirable. Yeah, I think it's just, I wonder if it's like you were saying, I guess there's different energies to different types of performers and different, that's what
you need them too. Cause if you've got 3 of you on stage, you don't want to play with 3 of you. You want a different energy to bounce off of. So we need you. Even if you're like, I can't be a cat on a tree, that's okay. We absolutely need someone to be like, there's a cat in the tree.
Yeah. And now a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Southwest Labs. Do you need a medical test but don't want to hassle with making an appointment with your doctor? Southwest Labs makes it easy for you. They have any test you might need. Sexual health testing, prostate screening, diabetes monitoring, COVID-19 testing, and more. Just choose what test you need, get tested, and get your results with a virtual doctor's interpretation. Southwest Labs has locations in Albuquerque and Las Cruces. Schedule your test today by calling 505-609-LABS or visiting southwestlab.com. You can also find Southwest Labs on social media at Southwest Lab. Mention this ad when you schedule your appointment. Southwest Labs makes medical testing simple. I think you touched on something good, Jill, as far as like comedy as a defense mechanism, because I could remember if my dad was like in a bad mood, or like, or even my mom, but I remember more my dad. Like, if you could make him laugh, like that was worth its weight in gold, kind of like it was like a get out of jail free card. And I just
Yeah.
remember that feeling. I don't know if that was, what did you guys think?
I could see that kind of. I can see that. My dad,
Yeah.
our dad's a funny guy, and so like I think he definitely appreciates a well-timed joke. You know.
Could you ever make your parents laugh, or did that drive you on, Jill? Or
My dad is so funny. And he plays things off with a joke all the time. So it's pretty hard to get him mad at you, or to
oh, okay.
to push his buttons. So like if you did, like you wouldn't try and like make him laugh. You'd be like, oh, I must have really messed up. My mom, um, my mom is like, she is the matriarchy, like she, like, that's who runs the house. My dad would be like, your mom's coming home, like, red alert.
That's
In the
funny.
kitchen, we didn't do it
That's
yet.
super funny.
So my dad was kind of always one of the kids too. And I think that's why, like, if my mom was mad, it was like, just give her space. Like, we never tried to like make her laugh. It was like, my dad's gonna do that, and it's not gonna go over well. So I'm just gonna go outside and jump on the trampoline while
that's
you guys
funny.
are mad
That's
at each other.
that's what moms are for, though, man. My wife like just rolls her eyes at all the jokes, and my daughters my daughters are 9 and 6, and they're like rolling on the floor laughing, and I think I'm like so hilarious, and my wife's just like, give it a break, man. And so I just kind of think that's how moms are, man. They gotta play this serious role in the family, you know.
Which one of your kids do you think is the funniest, Brennan?
Oh, I have two. So my youngest, for sure. My youngest daughter is definitely the funniest. From when she
Okay.
was like 2 years old, she was cracking jokes.
Nice.
Like I remember, like backing out of just the driveway, and she would like make this crazy thunking noise to pretend like I ran into another car. She was like
Aw.
2 or 3 years old, just like to get a reaction out of me, because she thought it was like the funniest thing ever. And my oldest daughter is definitely more serious. I mean, she's funny too. She can be quite funny, but I would say my youngest is the most inclined to comedy. So you think you're second oldest, Jesse, or are there?
He just has that energy I admire, like as far as like
Right.
just uninhibited, which I am jealous of. My oldest is kind of like me, and he's like a smart aleck kind of, and he's real
Yeah.
quiet, but he's a smart aleck. But so I think the second one is probably the one who's has just tons of I don't know. And then this actually puts us onto my last question for sibling rivalry, as far as like what did your parents do to kind of stop you from having rivalry? And one of the things I thought of was like, don't compare your kids, which I'm just comparing the crap out of my kids right now. So I don't know, but
Yeah.
our parents, I think, tried not to do that. I think it's some stuff is inevitable, and kids will pick up on comparisons, because anytime I praise one of my kids for something, one of them is usually like, well, I do that too, and it's just like, oh. Anyway, what do you guys think? What are ways to control that parents can do to kind of help sibling rivalry?
Well, for my family, like I said, my mom kind of like customized
Oh, okay.
certain things about,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
like if you know what my mom and my dad always do is like, um Sarah said that she wanted to do nursing, so they're not gonna like push me to do nursing, but they're gonna push her to like to do the thing, or like they try and like find something that is individualized to them, and then be like, well, let's do that. If that's what you want to do, like, let's figure out a way that you can push forward to do that. And so like they wouldn't tell Sarah like, hey, you need to get an agent because Jill is over here performing and you're not performing. Like, I know that that's like silly, and there's no way that any parent would do that, but I'm just saying, like, they've put different expectations on all of us. And I think it's inevitable that your kids are going to have like um, they're gonna have this like, well, I do that. Like, well,
Mhm.
I like I wore a dress the other day. You didn't say anything when I wore a dress. It's like,
Right.
no, but I'm it's not personal. Like, yeah,
Right.
it's you can't control what your kids are going to take personally that you're not meaning to do, but
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know, it's tough. It's a tough one.
Yeah,
It is tough.
I think like you said, it would be a good idea not to compare your kids. Um, and maybe like it would be a good idea to focus on like their unique skills for each one of your kids. You know, like things they do well. Um, that the other one, and then focus on things that their siblings do well, and so that just like to encourage them to each like find their own way and like not necessarily have to compete with each other for the same thing.
Mhm.
But you were saying that mom used to tell you you need to get better grades, like Miranda.
Yeah, and
Dude, that's
Miranda would get
hilarious.
embarrassed. My sister is like a pretty much a saint, but like, so it wasn't her fault, but she was just like, I just see you messing up, and I just don't do it. Kind of like what you were saying, Jill. She's just like, that's why I'm never in trouble. So anyway, so I'd kind of be mad at her, like, why you always got to be so good? And then
That's
anyway,
hilarious.
but yeah, well, cool. Well, this is some good insight, so that sounds good. Does anyone else have any other thoughts on sibling rivalry? Otherwise, we can take our ad break.
No, I think a little bit of sibling rivalry is healthy too, though, right? Don't you think, or is it always a bad thing?
I mean, I guess it's good to. I don't know. I mean, I guess if kids are having rivalries, I guess it's not bad.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't want to see like parents pitting kids against each other, like because I
No,
think that
no, not
sometimes
like that.
happens.
Not like that.
Well,
But I
right.
think like if you guys are, if it means that all your kids are ambitious in their own way, like because they're eager to show off their accomplishments, I think that it could be a good thing. But yeah, I definitely don't think that you should like put one kid on a pedestal and like, be
Hmm.
like, oh, look at so and so's grades,
Yeah.
Right.
much better grades than your grades.
Hmm.
I think that like siblings are your first friends.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's I think it's important to have times of competitiveness so that you learn, how you deal with those types of situations.
Right.
I agree that you shouldn't pit your kids against each other because it's just it's not good for anybody. Um, but yeah, I think it's healthy to have a little rivalry here and there, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well, cool.
I think it could be for sure.
Okay. All right. Do you want to take an ad break, Brennan? Then we'll get into a listener question.
Yeah, sure.
This
I'll
is a repeat customer. This is somebody we've plugged before, and they were so happy that they want us to plug them again. So,
all right, let's do this. All right. So it says today's sponsor is Tart Cherry Juice. Thousands of satisfied customers agree Tart Cherry Juice is the all-natural cure-all beverage that will soothe your aches and pains. Those in the no Sorry, wait, is that a typo? Those in the no, my bad. Those in the no that tart cherries are rich in nutrients that reduce inflammation, boost immunity, regulate metabolism, and fight fat. I use tart cherry juice for my chronic gout. Every few nights I wake up feeling like my big toe is on fire. I simply pour myself a few mugs of tart cherry juice from the gallon jug I keep on my nightstand. And in a few minutes after drinking, I am sleeping soundly again with my toe feeling as comfortable as a warm toilet seat. I keep a hip flask full of tart cherry juice on me at all times. Get free express shipping on your first order by visiting cherryjuicetart.biz/data-have-to-pee and using offer code data-have-to-pee at checkout. Tart cherry juice is on point and good for your joints. In parentheses, these claims have not been validated by the Food and Drug Administration. Possible side effects include stained teeth and shards. Oh my goodness, man.
Yep.
I love
It's a good-
tartar juice, man.
It's a good product.
And it's got like natural melatonin in it too,
Mhm.
right? It's
Yep.
good stuff, dude.
It's good for sleeping.
Hilarious.
Cool.
Have you guys
Well-
seen the episode of King of Queens where he like puts a fridge right next to his bed?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
yeah.
hilarious. Yeah, they're like trying to go to bed and then the fridge starts making that noise and she's like, "What is that?" And he like opens it up. It's like a fridge right there. Anyways, that's what it reminded me of.
Well, right
That
on.
show's a riot, man. It's so funny.
That's funny. All right, you guys ready to answer the listener question real quick?
Let's do it.
Okay. This one came on our Google form. If you want to ask us a question, we have a Google form where you can submit it. It's in our link tree. But anyway, it says, "What is the best hairstyle of all time?" I mean, or who has the best hair of all time? And that's from Julio Hendricks, Shaker Heights, Ohio. So, I was thinking about this a bit when I put it in here. I know the hairstyle that affected me the most as a young person was, and I've mentioned this before, was Gillian Anderson on the X-Files. Like, her hairstyle, like, had a significant impact on me as a young person. I don't know. What do you guys think? That's the coolest hairstyle. A hairstyle that I would want to have maybe is like, I don't know, like rockabilly guys, how they have like a pompadour. That would be
that's what
awesome.
I was gonna say.
But I don't have the confidence. What about you guys?
Like Nick 13's little, like, his hairdo's pretty cool. I always like the dudes from At the Drive-In, like their froze. But that's more my hairstyle. I can't really pull off like a pompadour or anything, but I could pull that off. I think I like their hair.
Yeah, I think for guys, I think the best. Well, it always depends on the dude, but I think the most iconic hair, like I won't say the coolest, but like the most iconic is like that 80s like waft that kind of came down like the John Travolta, like that was like so iconic for that time. I'm gonna go with iconic.
Nice.
That's my answer for
Nice.
guys' hair.
I like yeah, that's cool. 80s hair is the best.
Baby's hair.
I wish that was still a thing, man.
Bring
The,
it
like,
back.
The
We could
kind of
bring it back.
mullety looking in the back. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question, dude. I haven't given it a whole lot of thought.
I think I'm just thinking of that because I just watched the movie Perfect for the first time with John Travolta and Jamie Lee Curtis. And,
Oh, hilarious.
And he's got like super waft hair. And I was like, oh, that's so 80s. Like my dad had that in like the 90s because, you know, dads,
That's
they
funny.
find their niche.
I like the dude on Stranger Things, the guy that works at the ice cream
Oh
store.
my God,
What's
he's
it?
got huge hair.
Steve.
That's
What's
great.
his name?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got awesome hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that that's a good one. I wish I could pull off hair like that. Or he says he uses like Farrah Fawcett hairspray or something like that, right?
Yeah, I think that's what he said.
So funny, man. That's good hair.
Yeah, anybody else? Any other hairstyles you want to shout out?
What about like a mohawk? Would you ever rock a mohawk, Jesse?
It looks cool, but it seems like super impractical. Like you'd get in your car and it would just like be squished. I don't know. It seems cool.
I have a friend who I played in bands with when I was a freshman in high school, and he's been rocking a mohawk ever since we were freshmen in high school. And he like does it up and then has to sleep on his side like until he. And so I'm like, that's commitment, man, to rock that hairdo for like 20 years, man.
Did you have a thought on the mohawk, Jill?
I just think like if I did a mohawk, I would like I wouldn't put gel in it all the time, so then it would just be like hanging hair.
Right.
Then I'd be like, it'd have to be like a special occasion to like mohawk it up.
Well, and you'd have to, yeah, and you'd have to maintain it. You'd have to keep the sides short. Like it's like I get haircuts and then I just kind of let them grow out a little bit. But a mohawk, you gotta maintain that all the time. You gotta keep the sides nice and short. And then as far as women hair, I don't know. I kind of like. Let me think. Like Zooey Deschanel, like her bangs and stuff. I was gonna say
that she's got the best hair.
She's got good hair.
She does.
Yeah.
She's got the best hair.
And my wife and I like that show New Girl, and so she's got good hair on that one with the like bangs and stuff.
Yep, that's my favorite show. I quote it nonstop.
Oh, nice.
That's a hilarious show. Have you watched it, Jesse?
No, I need to. I should.
Dude, you gotta watch it. We're watching it for probably like the third time now. It's like when we wrap up a show that we like, and we're just like, we should watch something, but like we don't necessarily want to get all into a new one. We'll just start watching some New Girl episodes.
Right on.
It's pretty good.
Well, cool. Well, I think we answered that question pretty good. Are you guys ready to do a song from the glory days?
I'm down.
Okay, this is just described as a song from your teens or 20s, or a time when you felt like the world had infinite possibilities before you became jaded, maybe, or just a song that makes you happy. Who wants to go first? Do you want to go first, Brennan? Because sometimes you pick mine.
No, I don't want to go first. I'll go second.
Okay, I'll go first. I picked Nikki Clan, No Me Digas Que No. That we've talked about it before. We had a phase, me and Brennan, where we were like really into like Spanish language pop punk, like because he had lived in Latin America and I was living in Las Cruces. And anyway, it's really good. It's a girl fronted pop punk band. It's really catchy, from like 2008, 2009.
Dices que somos amigos, deberíamos ser algo más. Y sé que piensas lo mismo, pero tú sabes disimular. Dices que como amigos me quieres eternamente, pero como algo más me olvidarías fácilmente. No me digas que no, no. Si lo que quieres es huir, no intentes ya mentirme más, ya no. Sabes que mientes.
Who wants to go next?
Brennan.
I'll go. I chose At the Drive-In, One Arm Scissor.
Oh,
that
nice.
was the song that got me into At the Drive-In, and that whole record's really good. But they're a great band. You were into At the Drive-In? I think you bought their record and I ripped it or something.
I really like that one. Yeah, they're from El Paso too, so I thought that was kind of legit.
Yeah, they're super good. So that's the one I chose.
This amputations went to larynx, shit has access now. Get away, send transmission to the White House system. Get away, send transmission from the White House system. Get away, send transmission from the White House system. Get away.
All right, Jill, you've stalled long enough. What is yours?
Mine, so I'm gonna mess it up. Hold on. Well, it's by Dance Gavin Dance.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
From high school. Hold on. Uneasy Hearts Weigh the Most. That one,
nice.
Like that one. Anytime I hear that song, I'm like, I get in such a good mood. Like,
oh, nice.
I love that song.
Yeah, that's a cool band. Well, right on.
To feel her touch, it's almost impossible to hold still. Maybe we can go back to the way it was. Well, at least let me love you the same. I
What an excellent selection of songs we've picked today.
Yeah, it's a pretty wide. It's a pretty wide range of songs.
Variety.
Yeah, cool. Well,
Hey man, and just for the record, that day that we both picked Pulley, I said it first, so I think you were more likely the one that.
I was a poser. Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, you were like, no, I don't know. I think we
Alright.
were just on the same brainwave that day.
Yeah, we listened to a lot of the same music growing up. Okay, well, this has been a great episode. Thanks so much for coming, Jill. Did you want to plug anything before we go?
Scott Brown and I, Jill Lindsay, have a podcast that we do. It comes out every Tuesday. It's called I Says to Her, I Says Podcast. You can look it up through #IsThisPod. It's on all podcast available listening areas on
Sweet.
the interwebs.
Nice. It's a good show.
Sounds good. Yeah, it's really fun. All right, great. Well, thanks everybody for coming. Have a good Friday, and we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, thanks, Jill.
Yeah, of course. Thank
It
you
was good
guys.
talking.
Thank you.
So thanks for listening to... This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Brennan and Jesse are not experts of any kind. I mean, you heard them. Tune in next week when they share some more ignorant opinions on stuff they're not really qualified to speak on. Have a good week.
OMG, did you hear Kim is officially divorcing Kanye?
Good riddance. Took her long enough.
Good thing they have a prenup. Anyways, did you ever go to that new brewery?
Yeah, and remember that dude named Jake I went on a date with one time? He was there also.
Oh yeah, the one with the corduroy pants.
Yeah, that one. I'll give you the details later, but is somebody listening in on us?
Oh hey friends, thanks for dropping in. I'm Cassie.
And I'm Felicia. Who doesn't love a good conversation with friends?
Except these friends just happen to have a podcast.
Listen in as we give our opinions on, well, just about everything, really.
All Sick has new episodes every Thursday at 5 p.m. available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all other major streaming platforms.
We hope to hang with you soon.
Bye!